So some news and reminders. For Thursday, we are going to have a peer navigator guest speaker. So it's a peer mentorship program that they're offering here. And I was hoping to have that person come and talk to you guys maybe for like 15 minutes to just discuss the program. And if you guys are interested in getting a mentor for this semester, then definitely stay tuned for that for Thursday's class. They'll be here at 1 o'clock. And like I said earlier, today we're going to go over the time management. If we don't finish, we'll just continue it on Thursday as well, and then we'll go into the learning style. So again, by the end of this week, my goal for you guys is to have some of that time management project finished, like while you're in class, so you guys don't have to do this outside of class. Upcoming assignments, again, the SMART goal assignment is due September 26th. If you personally feel like you're having trouble, submitting the assignment, if you have questions about it, if you're kind of confused, let me know before Saturday so I can help you. I've already graded some student goals, and if I graded your assignment, I may have suggested you revised your goal, but you don't have to resubmit it. It's more as a suggestion. So just because I know that some people may get confused by that. So if you submitted your goal, I did give you full points because you guys did your best to do your goals. But if I put some suggestions on there, that's what they are. They're just suggestions of how you can improve your goal. The Canvas submissions, because of the journal a couple weeks ago, a lot of students were confused. So I wanted to address this. Assignments are typically due at 11:59 p.m. So what that means is that afterwards, if you try to submit an assignment after that time, Canvas will not allow you to do it. Okay, so make sure that when you're submitting an assignment to try to submit it before 11:59, or at least give your, maybe like 2 to 3 minutes before that. Okay, because then it would be considered late at that point. And then email responses, it has been brought to my attention that I haven't been on top of my emails, so I do want to apologize for that. I will be more on top of it and try to check my emails a little bit more daily. And then just as a reminder, I only check Monday through Friday. I don't check Saturday, Sunday. And usually it takes me 24 hours to 48 hours for me to respond. But if you email me on Saturday or Sunday, I won't get back to you until like maybe Monday or Tuesday of the following week. And then Sergio, your internet is bad. Okay, so again, if it's deep, keeps getting bad, feel free to watch the recording later. Today, again, really, we're just going to be working on the time management portfolio in class. So, you could feel free to work at that at your own pace if you keep experiencing the internet issue. Okay. Yes, and then the goals, the SMART goals are due September 26th. So that'll be this weekend. That's when it's due at 11:59 p.m. Thanks for asking, William. Okay. All right, so again, events for this week. So if you attend any of these events or any campus events, then feel free to submit as extra credit. Yeah, I could review the SMART goals when I get, after this, I'll go into Canvas and review it again for anyone who's isn't sure about the SMART goals. Welcome, Jacob. Okay, so here are some events that are happening. Today there is a info session about the Interaction Design Bachelor's Degree Program. There is going to be a Women in Entertainment, just like a discussion. These two ladies will be talking about their experiences working in entertainment. And then tomorrow, the Bodega from 11 to 3 p.m. A UC application workshop as well will be offered tomorrow. And then staying motivated in this remote environment. I know last week we went over that, but if you want more helpful tips, you may want to attend that workshop tomorrow. And then on Thursday, there's a personal finance workshop. They're going to have these throughout the semester. Tomorrow or Thursday is going to go over credit card debt and all of that. So that could be a fun experience. And then also there's going to be a My Ed Plan workshop. So again, if you guys attend any of these, you guys can get extra credit points for each event. I do believe I'm giving out 10 extra credit points. Okay. All right, so let me go over the Canvas. And since I do have someone who wanted me to go over the SMART goals. Okay. So again, it is going to be due September 26th at 11:59 p.m. So make sure to give yourself some room. Don't log in and try to submit it at 11:59 p.m. because by the time it processes it, it's going to close and it will be considered late. Okay. So just FYI, try to submit it a little bit before that, maybe 3-4 minutes before that. And then for the SMART goal assignment, you're going to create essentially 3 goals. One of them is a short-term academic goal for the semester. So this could be like, let's say you just want to get an A for your math class. You know, that could be your short-term academic goal for the semester. You're going to create a long-term goal. Maybe your long-term goal is to transfer to UCLA. And then the last would be your own personal goal. And this could be anything, could be health, finance, relationships, whatever have you. I'm really going to be focusing more on your first goal, which is the academic goal, because for the last journal of the semester, I'm going to have you guys go back to the first goal and see if you actually met it or not. So that's the one I'm really going to focus on. And then here's the format you must follow. So make sure that when you submit your SMART goals assignment, that you have this format, just how I have it here. You're going to start with your initial goal. So maybe it's like to get an A in math. Then you're going to specifically answer these and provide an example. And then you're going to revise and make it into a SMART goal. And then I provided an example right here. Okay. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect because the goals that I've seen some students submitted, they weren't considered like super SMART goals. But as long as you try and try to follow the format, then I'll give you full credit. And if I personally feel like you may want to revise the goal, then I'll provide a suggestion. Okay, but just do your best to create 3 goals. And then again, it doesn't have to be super perfect. I may provide suggestions and that's totally fine. As long as you submit this goal with this format, make sure it's this exact format right here. Okay, if it's not this format, you will lose points. So make sure it's that format. Do your best to submit 3 goals, right? Short-term academic, long-term academic, and personal goal. And then you should be able to get the full points. Yes, Leo, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question. So we have to do one for each individual goal, right?
Correct. Yeah, so you're gonna have 3 that look exactly like this. Yeah, 3 separate goals.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for asking. And then Michelle, do we create one? Yes, same thing. Yeah. So you're gonna be creating 3 separate goals with this specific format. Okay. And again, really the one I'm going to be focusing more on is the first one, because that one I really want you guys to work at. So by the end of the semester for your final journal, I'll ask something like, okay, in September, I asked you to create a short-term academic goal. Were you able to meet it? What were some challenges, etc.? So, okay. All right, so again, this is due September 26th, which is this Sunday. Don't, crack your head too much about it. Just try to submit it as best as you can. I would recommend if you can submit it before Sunday. If I personally feel that you're not following the format, I can have you resubmit the assignment so that you don't lose any points. So again, do your best and then submit the assignment. If I personally feel like you need to revise it more, then I'll tell you revise it, and then I'll give you extra time to revise it and submit it again. Okay? So thank you for asking about that. And again, the students who've already submitted, you guys have been doing great. Okay, now for modules for today, again, we're going to be working on time management. So if you guys could log into your Canvas, if you haven't already, there should be a week for time management and learning style module. Over here, it'll say assessments. And we're going to be using these assessments. So the only two that I did not upload was these last two, because we're going to go over these on Thursday. And to be honest, we may not even finish all of these today. But again, we'll work on these today. And if we don't finish it, we'll work on them on Thursday as well, right? So, but if you guys could download these, that would be great. If you're having trouble downloading them, you could always just view them. And then on a separate piece of paper, you can do your best to answer the questions. I have a question. So hi, Candy. Okay, it will be in the. Okay, okay, sounds good, Candy. No worries. Yeah, you could always watch the Zoom later. No problem. Okay, so again, these are the assessments, and then we'll kind of go one by one as we're going through the PowerPoint, so you guys could start working on these. All right, so let me go back to PowerPoint. All right, so we're going to talk about the time management chapter. Of course, we're going to go over some tips of how to best manage our time. Really, the bulk of today is to work on these assessments so that you guys could have that at least done for the week. And then if we have time, I'll go over the time management portfolio, which is one of the major assignments that you guys have to do. I try to break it up to make it a lot easier. I know it's going to seem a lot, but I just think it'll be easier in the long run if we just kind of break it up into different parts. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to go over is procrastination. Which is a big topic that I think a lot of us kind of deal with on a daily basis, as I was reading your journals and how we've discussed throughout the semester. And yes, Carlos. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. And then one of your classmates, everyone, Carlos is going to make an announcement at the end of class, so feel free to stay tuned for that. Thank you for reminding me, Carlos. So there's a great video that unfortunately I can't show, but I did put it on the Canvas page so you guys could watch it. It's by Tim Urban. He talks about the mind of a procrastinator. So I don't know if anybody's actually watched this TED Talk, but here's kind of a clip or a little picture of what some of the video is about. But essentially he talks about how all of us are essentially procrastinators. And just some are a little bit better to hide it than others, which I thought that was really funny. He explains his story about submitting an assignment or a thesis really late and how it kind of took year to kind of complete it, but he submitted it in like 3 days before the deadline, and of course ended up being really horrible and he ended not doing really well, which is something that again we've discussed last time with motivation and things like that. Like sometimes we do our best to get things done appropriately at a good time, but sometimes we just kind of avoid it, and and the next thing you know, there's this deadline that we have to meet. So he explains that procrastination not only harms you when you're trying to complete something on a deadline, but also harms you when you're trying to achieve a goal. Procrastinators do not only continuously put off schoolwork assignments and work projects into the day before the deadline, but they tend to also put off other things such as new businesses, starting a family, or fixing a major problem in their life. For example, like health. There isn't really a specific deadline of like when we need to meet our doctors, right? But most of us don't go see our doctors. And then the next thing you know, we go when we're like almost dying. And it's like by then it might be too late, right? So why? Because we're such procrastinators, not only in our assignments and in our work, but also even in our personal lives. And then he puts the question of, are you going to make major moves to accomplish something big today, or will you save that for tomorrow? So as we talked about last week, you know, motivation, it's sometimes very hard to have it, especially, you know, after a while. So that's where that discipline comes in. Same thing with procrastination. Like we do our best to like, oh, we'll get it done tomorrow. We have all this time and da da da. But it's like, if you could just do it now, then just do it now. At least start it now. Even if it's like for a couple of minutes, just get something started now. Which is why for this, this week, I really wanted to help most of you, because I know most of you are procrastinators and are going to take a while to submit that time management portfolio, right? So that's why I'm having you guys take advantage of my class right now to complete some of that time management portfolio, right? So just as that question says, if we can start something now, why not just start it now instead of having wait until later when it becomes this huge thing and we have no time and we do everything the last minute and then it becomes a huge mess. And then there's a quote that I really liked that, and I put the little timestamp if you want to watch the video. It says the frustration is not that they couldn't achieve their dreams, but it was that they hadn't even started chasing them yet. So really great. I really love, hopefully you guys could watch the video again. I could put the video, but the audio is the problem. So that's the reason why I was like, oh, I'll just have you guys, if you're interested to watch it, feel free to take a look at it. And again, it'll be on the Canvas page. Okay, and here's just a little illustration. It includes about the monkey. So the monkey is essentially the one that's not helping us with completing any assignments. So we might think, oh, this is a perfect time to get work done. And the monkey's going to be like, nope. And then he takes over the wheel. And all of a sudden, we start doing other things and avoiding the task at hand. So great. Recommend you guys watch this TED Talk. And again, it's going to be on the Canvas page. So you guys can take a look at it. Okay, so now starting with the assessments, okay? So definitely, we might go a little fast. If you need to go back and revise it, that's totally fine. But the first one is time waster. So go ahead and look at the assessments, and you guys should be able to view the one that says time waster, and I'll pull it up as well. So we can download the code for the assessment, we could turn it in. Yes, correct. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, so you can download the assessment, whether it's a PDF or the Word document. You'll fill it out, and then you can upload that as is, just like that. If I know some of you may not have Word or Adobe, or if you have trouble with that, then at that point, what you could do is just get a piece of paper, like a regular scratch piece of paper, and you could answer the questions. Just put the title, put time waster at the top, and then you can view the PDF or the file on Canvas and then answer the questions. And then you can upload that piece of paper as an assignment. Okay, so does that make sense? So you could either download it and submit that way, or you could write it on a piece of paper and upload that. Okay. Try to make it as accessible. Make sure if you are writing like on a piece of paper, it is legible, right? So just FYI. Okay, so again, the first one we're gonna go is fill out the time waster. So go to assessments. You could do PDF or you could do Word, it'll say docs. You could download it right here in that little arrow. It should download. And then you could put it and move it to your desktop or wherever you're at. And then now you could just take the time to fill this out. So the first one is time wasters, and it says identify your 5 biggest time wasters. So you're gonna rank these from 5 times from 1 to 5, with 1 being your biggest time waster. So basically, where do you spend most of your time in, okay? Now, some of these you could, change them. I think I added some of these right here. Like watching television can include Netflix or Hulu. Internet, think of like social media, like going on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, really anything having to do with being on your phone and social media. Okay, so look through all of these. And if there is something that is not listed here and it takes most of your time, then you can put that here and list it here. And then you're gonna go ahead and rank them. So go ahead and take the next maybe 5 minutes or so to look through these. If you have any questions, that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. And then here at the bottom, you can just put some ideas of what you think you can help you with your number one time waster. So actually, I think I did this the opposite, but so you look at your number one and what are some strategies that can help you with not wasting your time on this particular area. So my number one is daydreaming, for example. So what I could do is maybe write a journal and put my thoughts down there. Could talk to someone. And they could just be little statements. It doesn't have to be a full paragraph or anything like that for your strategies. Yeah, oh, no worries. So if you're having trouble where to find the assessments, let me go back over here. So go ahead and click on the mod. So first you want to log into your Canvas page. Go to modules, and then you're going to find week 4 time management and learning styles. And it should be this only one that is what's the word I'm looking for? That it's published. So the one that says assessments. Go ahead and click there. And then you should have all of the assessments. So you can do it one by one. The first one we're looking is at the time wasters. You can download it as a Word document or as a PDF. If you're having trouble filling it out through these, then you could just like click on whichever one and it'll open up a preview. And then what you could do is on a separate piece of paper, you can just rank these from 1 to 5 and then answer the question on your own. Okay.
Where do you turn this in?
Oh, so I'll put that at the end. So right now, just kind of start saving them, and then I'll show you where you're going to upload them later. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I didn't want to put it up now because I don't want people to get confused. So I was like, I'll just wait until after. Okay, so if you're still working on it, no problem. If you're finished, then I want you guys, and this would be helpful for you to have maybe a separate piece of paper, Word document, it could be a sticky note, whatever. Go ahead and answer this question. So after you complete the time waster assessment, what did you learn about yourself? And this could again be one sentence to, I'm not looking for like full paragraphs here. Maybe for me, I noticed that I daydream a lot, and that was surprising. And that's it. Any changes I will make or strategies I will start using. So if you already filled the form out, that was at the bottom, what are some strategies? So just know that you could put those same down there for the second question. Okay. So after you finish the assessment, go ahead and answer these 2 questions on your own, what I learned about myself, and then changes I will make or strategies I will start using. And they could be 1 to 3 sentences, nothing too crazy is fine. And let me publish the procrastinator video. And then let me know if anybody is a little lost or confused. I'll give you all maybe 2 minutes or so to answer these questions. Okay, So again, if you need a little bit more time, feel free to take a little bit more time. I try to do it in a way where like I'll talk about something and then we'll do the assessment and then I'll talk about something and then you guys will do the assessment so you guys could have some time in between to keep filling the assessment out if you need to. Yes, it was only 1 to 5. And I did it the opposite. So 1 being the one that you feel you waste most of your time in, and then 5 being the one you least waste your time in. But only 1 to 5 is fine. Okay, and then I'll put the questions in here. So just in case you guys need to get the questions. So what I learned about myself and changes I will make or strategies I will start using. Okay. All right. So time and your personality. So the reason why I wanted to start off with that assessment is because I think it does talk about your personality a little bit, and it's important to understand your personality and how you view time and how you approach time. So as you're looking through your time wasters, you might see, a pattern here. You might be surprised. Maybe you're like, yeah, I already know that I spent, most of my time watching Netflix or playing video games or talking to my boyfriend or girlfriend. So, but it's important to know where most of that time goes because when you start realizing that, then you could adjust it accordingly depending on your situation or maybe all of a sudden you get a job and now like because you have a job now you can't really spend your time talking to your girlfriend anymore as much as you used to. So you kind of want to get an idea of where your time goes. And then once you're aware about it, you can potentially make those changes if you need to. People also differ in how they respond to schedule changes. A lot of times people will say, oh, well, I don't like change. And it's probably because they're so used to where their time is spent that they're like, oh, I have to make these adjustments now, depending on what new change happened. But time, as we know, it's kind of like fluid. It kind of comes and goes. Things change all the time depending on your situations, right? So that's why you always want to be on top of your actual daily schedule. And again, if you need to make changes, then you know where to move other things, where to prioritize certain things as well. Other aspects of your time personality involves time of day. So I've mentioned this before, but some of us are morning people, some of us are afternoon, night owls. You definitely want to know who you are in that sense as well. Because if you are more of a morning person, you may want to schedule a lot of your activities during the day versus late at night, or opposite. Maybe if you're a night person, then you might actually be able to study better at night versus during the day. You can learn to manage your time more effectively. So know how you spend your time, and then of course, create a schedule that works for your own time and personality. If we write down the assessments, do you want us to write word for word or just the numbers from time wasters? You can put, yeah, so you can include the word. So I would say put time wasters and then list your 5 and then, right, so like your number 1 time waster could be like, I don't know, procrastinator. Number 2, daydreaming. That's a, right, so I know what, but that's it. So I haven't published it yet. So at the end of today's class, I'll show you where you can upload these assessments. So you can just save them right now for the time being. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second assessment. So best time of day. So go ahead and look at the assessments, and then you're going to be looking for best time of day. It should look like something like this. Okay. So for this one, if you are writing it on a separate piece of paper, you could just put 1 and then your answer. Okay, so you don't have to write down the whole question. You could just put your time, your best time of day, put question 1, and then put the answer if you're writing it down. Okay, so with this one, your best time of day, reach each of the following questions. Pick one best response that is most true to you. Each response you choose has a point value. So you see here, these are the points. You're going to add those points afterwards to get a total score. Okay, so go ahead and take the next couple of minutes to look at the statements and answer them. Okay. So again, once you answer these, go ahead and add up the points. Okay. And if you're writing this on a separate piece of paper, again, just put your best time of day at the top, question, the answer, and then at the bottom you could put total points, and then just tell me how much your total points were. Based on your points, here it gives you a range. So if you scored between 20 to 26, you're definitely a morning person. If you score 15 to 19, then you're somewhat of a morning person. If you, then I would maybe say this like an afternoon person. And then from 10 to 14 points, somewhat evening. And then 5 to 9 points, then you're definitely maybe like a night owl, kind of late person. Okay. So after you know which you fall under, it does provide you with some strategies on the same document. So depending on where you're at, it does here, it gives you some ideas of how it can help you throughout the day. So then from here, then you can go ahead and start answering the next questions, which is, again, what did you learn about yourself? Give an example. Discuss your best time to study based on, what you've learned. So if you're a morning person, then maybe your best time to study is in the morning. And then discuss your best time to take classes. Okay, so just to give you some ideas. And then changes I will make or strategies I will start using. And again, you can use the document. It does give you some strategies. So like for me, since I'm a morning person, a strategy that I can do to help me is to eat breakfast that is filled with high fiber like fruit. And that could be my strategy. Okay. So I'll put that as the next question. Okay, so this time of day questions. Okay, so again, take your time to look through to finish the assessment, and then you could also just answer these questions. These questions is part of the portfolio, so that's why I'm having you answering them. So again, I'm trying to knock these out for you guys, so there's less work for you to do after class. Okay, So keep working on it if you need to. For the next slide is just talking about the book mentioned some time management for successful college students involve these particular factors. So determining how much time you need to spend studying, okay? Uh, there is a specific formula, and one of the assessments that goes over that of depending on like your work hours, excuse me, your classes and all that, there's a specific formula of when you should study. That formula is really good, but I also always mention to students like sometimes we just don't have enough time in the day, even if we do our best to plan it out. So if you are someone that just even if you laid out your day-to-day activities, your whole calendar, and you only have like 10 to 15 minutes to study, then you really want to utilize whatever you have. If it's only 10 to 15 minutes to study, then you want to be able to study it efficiently in those 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Knowing how much time you actually have for studying and increasing that time if needed. Okay, we'll create a calendar kind of like so you can get an idea of when you think is best for you to study, how much time you actually have, if it's possible to increase that. If it's like not necessarily, maybe you only have 10 to 15 minutes, but can you spread that 3 days in the week instead of just like having 2-hour blocks per day, right? Being aware of the time of day you are at your best and most focused, which is why the assessment that we just did. So now that you guys know, are you guys a morning person? Are you in the afternoon? Are you kind of in the middle? Are you more of a late person? When you know that about yourself, then you know when to best utilize your time, how to also best, prioritize certain tasks and things like that. Like for me, since I'm a morning person, I get everything done by like 8 a.m because I'm up by 5, right? So I have all those time to really work and I'm my most energized in the morning. By the time it gets 2, 3 o'clock, I don't want to do nothing. So that's why I leave that for the insignificant tasks, the smaller tasks, the tasks that don't require too much of my brain. I'll leave that for the afternoon, but the ones that are a little bit more intense, require more of my energy, I'll do that in the morning because I'm a morning person. And I know that now, right? Scheduling study activities in realistic segments. So kind of like I mentioned, like even though there's a formula of how much you should study, realistically, you want to make sure that if you only have a specific time that you allocate that time and you definitely want to plan for that and use that time to study effectively. Using a system to plan ahead and set priorities. We'll go over some assessments as well as with that. So some of that could be to-do list, okay? It could be post-it notes. It could be your calendar, like a planner or on your phone, anything that can help you build a system where you know what your priorities are for the day or for the month or for the week, things like that. Staying motivated to follow your plan and avoid procrastination. This is obviously a practice. I've been seeing videos about this. Like, we have to sometimes practice in our lives for ourselves to get better. So I do want to use this time to really help you practice your procrastination, but also motivate you. That's why I want to spend this time to help you with completing some assignment, because how awesome is it that by the end of this week you have a couple, like half of the assignment already done. So it just you feel more motivated. You feel like, yes, I actually get to check something off and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Why? Because you got it done now. You did not procrastinate. That's why you're right now in this class doing these assessments. So special note for students who work. I know there's a couple of you who do work a lot of hours. So I was a little surprised. I was like, wow, sometimes we can't, that's just the reality of it. So just don't try to overextend yourself. Make sure to have a nice work life and school balance. Definitely talk to your boss about your schedule. Like for me, I needed to talk to my boss to give me extra break time because I do work 40 plus hours in the week, plus I teach. And I needed to talk to her to figure out how I can not only still teach, but also still do my other job and also have a life, right? So definitely communicate with your boss. I know sometimes the bosses, they're just the bosses and they're going to say no. But if you can, I definitely would encourage you to do that. Minimize commuting time. What's nice about now with online courses, like you could literally do this like anywhere. So that's really nice. If you can take an online course, why not consider doing that? definitely get a planner and be organized, and whatever that means to you, make it pretty, make it accessible, make it easy, and you want to keep following through with that. If you can't cut the number of hours, so usually with students, especially like freshman students, I tell them if it's possible to cut those hours a little bit, then I would encourage you to do that. But if it's really impossible, then maybe consider taking fewer classes just to kind of get the rhythm of it, especially if it's your first time working. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. And it's better to take less classes and succeed in those versus taking a full schedule and failing, right? So you sometimes have to, again, prioritize, see what works for you. And it might take practice to finally get this life work, kind of school balance going. Okay, so now let's go to the next assessment. So the ABC daily to-do list and the long-term project, okay? So this one it's like a two-parter. So really it's just a to-do list. I don't know why they call it ABC, because A, you're gonna kind of decide, again, prioritize, rank what you think is most important, being A, B is important, and then C does not require immediate attention, okay? So what I want you to do is think of some to-do items that you have for this week, just for this week. What are some assignments you have to do? Is there any, do you need to study for a particular exam? This could also include personal life, maybe it's getting to the gym at a specific time. So go ahead and create maybe like 5 to-do lists for the week. You don't have to fill out the whole thing right here. If you want, that's great. But, for right now and the purpose of the time, you can just go ahead and just create 5 tasks that you want to kind of work at. Do not include regular activities such as going to class or work or calling friends. Okay, but I think gym is fine. That's okay. Sometimes you do need to schedule that and everything. So like right here, so create, learning style PPT. And that's a number A. Email Kari, that's a level A. Go to gym, that's a level B. And then feed Coco, that's a level A because he will die. And then call to make doctor appointment. What's a T? Something like this, nothing too specific. And that's a level C. Okay. And then after this one, you can go ahead and fill out the long-term project. So write down every task you will need to complete for the project. So this could be any project, maybe for the Sparkle assignment, or maybe it could be any project that you have in mind. It doesn't have to be a class assignment. Maybe you have a project to fix your car, something like that. Or maybe you have a project to complete a resume. I don't know. So whatever project, long-term project, you want to go ahead and start kind of putting some tasks here. So I know it says name of course, but really it could be any project. I don't want to be specific about that. So I'm going to put fix car for my project. When do you need to have this project due? I need to have it done by October 3rd. So check oil, time needed, 30 minutes, due date, let's get that done this week. Check tires, it takes about 10 minutes. Get that done tomorrow. So same thing, as best as you can, do 3 to 5 tasks for your long-term project, whatever that project is. And again, this is just helping you break the big project into smaller tasks, so it doesn't seem such a big project at the end. I don't know, wash car. And then I'll put the questions, the discussion questions, or the questions you want to answer in the chat. So, to-do list and long-term project. And then okay, so once you finish both of those assessments, you can answer these 2 questions. So the first one is, how did you prioritize which assignment or activity was most important to you? So this is in regards to the ABC to-do list, right? So you could, again, how did you kind of determine which one was really important, like your A, and then which one was least important? You know, so how were you able to kind of prioritize that? Maybe because of the due date, you're like, oh, well, I need to submit my project because it's due on this day, you know. So that's for the first question. How did you prioritize which assignment or activity was important to you? And then for the second question, what are some small tasks that can help you with your long-term goal? So that's really easy because you've already included those tasks here, right? So if your long-term goal is to fix a car, then the first thing, your small task is to check the oil. So, okay. So those are the 2 questions. Sergio, can you help me with how to-do list? Yes, so the to-do list looks like this one. So this is what you're thinking, like what you need to get done immediately, or you know, maybe it takes a little bit more time to get it done. You could just do this for the week, or maybe it could just be for today. If it makes it easier for you, create a to-do list just for today. So what do you need to get done by the end of today? It could just be 5 tasks. You don't need to fill out this whole thing. You know, you could just have 5. So for today, like for me, for today, I want to, you know, I could put finish the PowerPoint for Thursday. My second for today, I need to email Kari because I haven't emailed her. Go to the gym, feed Coco, call to make the doctor's appointment. So for your to-do list, you could just think of making to-do lists for today or for the week. And then based on that, you want to rank them. What is most important to you? What do you need to get done right away? Like for me, I need to finish that PowerPoint because if not, what am I going to talk about on Thursday? Right? So that's why that's number A. Call the doctor, like I could call her late. I can call her tomorrow. So that's a C. Not doesn't require immediate action. You know? So here where it says done, you know, if you've already, like if you're doing one for today, you're like, well, I already emailed Kari, then you can check off done, but it's okay. I'm not going to focus on these as much. I really just want you guys to write down some to-do tasks for the day or for the week, and then just rank them based on priority, what you think is most important to get done. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Okay. And you could be specific. It does give you an example. So like for here, this particular example talks about history class. They need to read these pages and make note cards. You could be as specific or as vague. It really just depends on what you think could help you with completing the task. Okay. For the long term, same thing. It could be 3 to 5. Yeah, so for the long term, depending on what you're, you might not need a lot of small tasks, but I would say at least 3 for the long term project. If you could at least include 3 small tasks, that'll be fine. 3 to 5. Okay, so again, keep working on them if you can. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the rest of the PowerPoint. Thank you guys for being proactive and asking questions. Okay, so tips to use now. Use your best and most appropriate time of the day. So just how we've been talking, when do you think is the best time for you to get stuff done? Is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon? Is it middle of the night? Whatever that is. Break up large project into small pieces, which is why the long-term project assessment, right? So whatever long project you have to do, it's a lot easier to kind of put them into smaller chunks, so then it doesn't seem like such a big task, right? So like for me, I need to fix my car. So the first thing I want to get done is check my oil. Boom. Once I get that, go ahead and check my tires. Boom. And by the end of the month, or by the end, yeah, I think for me it was by the end of the month, I will have my car fixed because I completed those small little tasks, right? So always break it up into smaller tasks. Definitely want to do the most important task first, which is why the to-do list is important. You want to know and you want to understand how to best prioritize the task at hand. Okay. William, it's okay. It's fine. Like I said, these aren't due today. So if anyone here is like, oh, I'm going too fast, it's because of the time. That's why. But again, they're not due today. I just wanted you guys to start working on them today so that you guys at least could have, if you could at least have one of them completed, you're already ahead of like anyone who's not here. So it's okay. But yeah, if you guys need me to stay behind, I actually have some time today. Um, so I could always go over as well if you guys need to do that. All right. If you're feeling overwhelmed, definitely revisit your planner. Maybe you need to make some changes to your schedule, clear it a little bit better. So that's why a planner is useful. Something visually to look at could be really helpful. Definitely take a break when needed. Okay, breaks are super, super helpful. So you definitely want to take a break. Talk to your family. This is important because sometimes I think this is also me and my experience as a college student, first generation college student. My family never understood what I was stressed about or why I had no time. They were like, well, you just sit in class and listen. That's all you do. And I'm like, yeah, but there's more to that. So you need to definitely discuss with your family. I know sometimes it could be uncomfortable kind of conversation, but you definitely, if you have that relationship with your parents or your family, definitely tell them like, hey, like I'm in college now. It is a little bit different. I may need to say no. Like I had to say no to a lot of parties. Going out, spending time with my family. I needed to say no because I was like, I need to finish this. I need to do my homework. I need to study, and at the end of the day, it does pay off because now I'm the only one that finished and, that's good. So definitely if you could discuss with your family, let them know like, hey, this is a situation. Sometimes I'm going to need to say no. Because I'm working at these homework assignments that are due. I have to read these papers. I have to study. Things like that. And it's difficult saying no. Trust me, it took me a while. Make time for yourself. Please, please, in that schedule that I'm going to have you guys build, definitely include self-time, okay? Whatever that means, whatever makes you not stress, makes you happy, feel energized, relax, make sure to include that. Please, please do. Please do. Not everything in life is about work and school. You want to take time for yourself. And then use a calendar planner and daily to-do list to help you with that. For me, it is a to-do list. That's why I really love the to-do list. To-do list for me is what helps me get my stuff on track. That's what helps me. So, but whatever helps you, helps you. Okay. So the last thing I was going to have you guys do is evaluate your school workload. This one may take some time, and I know we're running out of time. So again, we can pick this up in next class, but just in case you guys you can work on these, right? You don't have to do them in here. I just wanted you guys to do them in here. But this is the next one. It's evaluating your schoolwork and plan your schedule. So this is also a two-parter. Pretty much you'll answer like how many courses you're taking this semester. So obviously we know one. Wow, that's a small font. I just noticed the font. It's like the tiniest font ever. Okay, there it is. Counseling 20, how many units? Okay, then you're gonna count how many units. So if you're taking, total of, how many classes, then you'll put that here. Okay. And then this is the formula that I was talking about. So study time, so at least 2 hours for each unit of classes. That's the formula. So you would put 2 times 12, or how many units you're totally taking, right? So I'm pretending I'm taking 12 units, which that would get me to 14. Maybe my math. I can do calculus, but I can't even do a simple math, okay? All right, so technically I'm supposed to allocate 14 hours of study time, right? And then you just kind of answer the rest of them. Do you work? So I do. I work 40 hours for 40 plus, so I guess I could put 55 hours. Are you part of the athletic team, club? Do you participate in other, organizations, responsibilities? This could be family responsibilities, right? Like taking care of your brothers and sisters, making food, etc. So how many, hours a week do these obligations take? So you can give a rough number, put 20, okay? And then you can put right here 20. And then you just add all of these together. So you add how many units you're taking, how many study time, and then, all of this, and that would give you a grand total. And then here it tells you, based on your grand total, where do you score at? Is your total 30 to 40, 31 to 50, etc.? And then also kind of gives you an explanation. So if you find out that you're between 51 to 55 hours, then you're probably stressing a little bit. So you may consider a lighter load. If you're over here, like I'm over here, then, it's prone to anxiety and some burnout. So this just helps you realize again of maybe that if you need to dial it down on certain things, like again, like with family, sometimes you need to say no to some of those obligations. Or if you're part of a club, is there any way that maybe, you could take it in the spring instead of the fall? Things like that you want to consider. Okay, so these again, it's more adding, so it might take you time, to do that. And then after you complete this, then you fill out the study schedule and fixed commitment. So this includes everything through Monday through Sunday. So I want you to include everything, okay? I do have a great example. I have to upload it. So that's what I'm saying, because of time, we can definitely go over this on Thursday's class. But what I mean by this is that you could include when you sleep, right? So if you're sleeping here, put sleep. You want to put everything sleep. And you can make it colorful. If you want to download this and make it colorful, why not? Block it off. You could put, this could be blue for sleep. And then you also want to include if you commute. So you could put commute. How long does it take you to commute to wherever you need to go? Then you have maybe right here, you have breakfast. So you want to include everything. Not like, there's certain things you don't want to include, right? We're not going to get into But just include enough information that you know you do this on a daily basis. And then obviously you want to include some study time. That is part of it, okay? Like I said, although it's a recommended, per unit, I want you to also be realistic. If you feel like you only have 20 minutes to study for your math, then figure out how you can spread that out a little bit, so you definitely want to include study, but you also want to include the rest of your daily routine, if it's walk dog, and you're going to do that all Monday through Sunday. Okay. Again, we'll work on this again on Thursday's class, but because I do want to show you once you actually finish the assessments where to upload them. So I'll show you that in just a moment. And then if you haven't finished, then you can still work on it, no problem. And then we can continue this on Thursday's class. Okay, so let me go ahead and show where you guys could upload them. Okay, if anyone could do me the favor of logging into Canvas, can you check to see if upload assessment is viewable for you guys? Let me see it as a student view. It should pop up over here as well, upload assessment, but if not, you can click into the modules, go to week 4, and it should say upload assessments. And then let me double check that. Okay, thank you, Carlos. Okay, so let me double check that I have you guys. So you guys should be able to upload. You know what? Let me include text just in case. So let me put text entry as well. And then thank you, William. Okay, so before you guys leave, if you guys again already finished your assessments, then you guys could already start uploading them. You know what? Let me double check because you could upload them as a file. Let's see, choose file. Let me see if you can upload multiple times. One. Yeah, you guys should be able to upload multiple times because I've already uploaded these two. So as you're finishing these assessments, go ahead and just start uploading them, okay? And then you can just submit the assignment. Oh, it does that? How cute. And then I can start viewing them, okay? So when is this due? Great question. Okay, so the way I split it up is that I'm gonna have 2 parts to the time management assignment, okay? So I recommend you submit these by September 28th, okay? So that's what I recommend, but you guys have until October 3rd, okay? But again, October 3rd, how many weeks is that from now? I know a lot of you are gonna wait until October, 1st or exactly on October 3rd to submit it. But now that you guys already worked on them, you guys are ahead of everybody else. So, but yeah, October 3rd is when it's actually gonna be due. Next question right here, it says, oh yeah, so for the ones with the questions, right, where you answer the questions, let me go ahead and, sorry, publish that as well. I wanted to separate it because I just found that it was easier to do that than just put it all in one area. So for the questions, publish, it should be under answer awareness statement questions. Okay, but again, what did we do? We did your best time of day. You guys already answered this one. So boom, you could put that. ABC to-do list, time wasters. Essentially, all we did was most of them except for the left brain, the right brain, and then learning style. Okay, so let me actually edit this because I don't think it allows you to upload. So let me put text and upload. And yeah, thank you, William. I know so it is accurate. I know. Again, I was trying to make it where you guys don't have to do a lot of extra outside work. If you guys could just do it in here in the class. Okay. And again, we'll work on this on Thursday. So, if you guys want to wait till Thursday to continue uploading these, by all means, you guys can do that. No problem. Okay. Because you guys have until October 3rd. I just want you guys to work on it now. Yay. Somebody was able to upload some assessments. Okay. So that's it for today. Oh, wait, actually, sorry, the quote of the day. So also the PowerPoint, I will put, it's going to be up there as well. But I do want to at least go over the quote of the day. So thank you, Sienna. This is Change the Way You Look at Things and the Things You Look at Change by Wayne Dyer. Great quote. I really loved it. Thank you so much. All right, so I know this is past usually the time that I let you guys leave. Again, feel free to stay behind if you guys have any questions, any issues submitting the assessment or questions about the SMART goals. But we'll continue this on Thursday. We'll work on the commitment schedule, okay? I'll see if I can upload a copy of a student who did one last year that I really enjoyed. And then we'll work on the brain one, and the learning styles. Okay, all right, so that's pretty much it for today. Let me go ahead and stop recording. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to